Hey, everybody out there, this is Andrew Alvarez, and I'm the Latino Conservative. So pardon me for just a second. I am going to make sure that my sound is working as it should. This is, this is a one-man show. Sometimes there's glitches, little gremlins in the system. So I've just got to make sure everything works every now and then. It looks like as it is so far. We've got some things to talk about today. Specifically, Section 230 is under attack, as it should be. But first, before we get into all that, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. And one way you can help support the show, go to thelatinoconservative.com. You can click on that chime button right there. And what that'll do is that'll let us both get $100. And the way you do that, you click that, you install the app, you get their prepaid credit card, and it's really a secured credit card is what it is. It's an actual credit card, not a debit card. Helps you build your credit. I know I personally use it, and I get my direct deposit set up to that card. The more money I deposit into that account, the more my spending limit is, the better my credit looks. So go to thelatinoconservative.com. Click on that green banner, and we can both get $100. That helps support the show. Another way you can help support the show, if you want to contribute directly, you can do that on Cash App. $ Latino Conservative. And hook a brother up. You know, this stuff right here that I got, these cameras and these phones that I have and this internet service that I use, it isn't free. It all comes out of my own pocket. I don't have any sponsorship. You know, they don't really like us conservatives very much. So I do this all on my own so far. So let's get into the topic. You usually have to win a golf. It's a cool jacket though, isn't it? I got a comment here on my TikTok saying you usually got to win a golf tournament is win a green jacket. This is why I don't use a green screen anymore, because I got this green jacket. I really like this green jacket. I've had it for a while. I can barely not fit into it, so couldn't fit into it at all. But first topic. Let's talk about Section 230. And I'm going to read straight here from Wikipedia. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. For those of y'all on my TikTok and Instagram over here, sorry you can't see this part of the screen. In fact, let me fix this over here. But Section 230 is a section of Title 47 of the United States Code that was enacted as part of the United States Communications Decency Act, and generally provides immunity for website platforms with respect to third-party content. At its core, Section 230, Code 1, provided immunity from liability for providers and users of an interactive computer service who published information provided by third-party users. So basically, what that means is companies like Google, like Facebook, are immune from what people post. Basically, that's the intent of it. They're immune from what people post. They won't be held liable for what somebody else does. Basically, if somebody else yells fire, they won't be held accountable for that. Same thing with YouTube. But big tech companies have taken advantage of that. And what has gone on now, specifically with that? We've got companies like DirecTV that decided it was okay to pull companies like Newsmax off their streams, off of their streams, off of their channels. Now, I get it. Newsmax is conservative. It is. I understand that. Totally. 100% understand that. That is the intent of it. It's meant to kind of go along the lines of CNN, but for conservatism. Okay. To me, that's not news. That is editorials. That's what that is. But either way, if the likes of New York Times, New York Post, Washington Post, CNN, all of those, if they can all stay online, MSNBC, CBS, the Newsmax should be able to stay online as well. Equality, right? So what they're doing is they're taking it off. And they're trying to use some lame stuff, lame language like incitement of violence again, when we know people like Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they all have insult violence already. They're trying to say fake news when the president himself is guilty of fake news. The DNC is guilty of fake news by way of the laptop that was hidden. That's fake news. If it's not brought out and it's withheld, saying that it's not true, then it's fake. Now, Senator Ted Cruz, he launches a probe of big tech censorship. And let me share this screen with you too. This is on Newsmax, ironically. Senate Commerce Committee Chair Ted Cruz, the Republican from Texas, vowed to investigate big tech censorship of conservatives after Newsmax was dropped by DirecTV. As he should. He goes on further to say, today, as ranking member of the Commerce Committee, I opened an investigation into big tech censorships. Cruz tweeted Monday night, we are going to see accountability, transparency, and we're going to shine a light on big tech's efforts to silence conservatives. Now, why do I know that he's right on that? Because I've been censored. On that platform right there, the top phone, I have been censored there. And I'm looking at some of these comments here, so, okay. But either way, conservatives by far get censored way more than liberals. Plain and simply, no doubt about it. Conservatives have had to make their own networks because we were censored. Daily Wire, you know, the network and the platform that Ben Shapiro runs, specifically because he's been censored as well. Heck, Joe Rogan was even censored, and they tried to censor him, but they couldn't. Joe Rogan is just too big. They tried to censor Joe Rogan because of some conservative comments he made when he was talking about, you know, he specifically said, get with your doctor and let them decide, and you decide your treatment for you when it came to mandates. They tried to censor him over that. Now, everybody knows that Republicans were against the vaccine mandates. You know, we didn't care about, you know, the vaccine. I got the vaccine. But having it mandated, that's a whole different story. And since Joe Rogan said it on his channel, they tried to cancel him. But Joe Rogan is too big to be canceled. Further on into it, it also says Representative Biggs to Newsmax. Authoritarian government starts with censorship. Does that sound familiar? That's what Canada is doing right now. Canada says that they have a freedom of speech, but I promise you, think back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, when Donald Trump first got into office. And I'm not going to talk about policy, but think back 6 years ago when he first got into office. How many people said something negative about him? I'm thinking, you know, I'm waiting. Tick tock, tick tock. I'm waiting. How many people said something negative about Donald Trump and got away with it because it was their freedom of speech? And you know what? That should be the way. Censorship is never the way to go. What's happening in Canada, or what happens in Canada with their quote unquote free speech, if you talk bad about the government, you go to jail. United States is one of the very few countries in the world, if not the only country in the world that has true freedom of speech. We could say whatever we want, almost. We can't go into theaters and yell fire and stuff like that. We're not even technically supposed to incite violence. That's a crime, Maxine Waters. That's a crime, Chuck Schumer. You've unleashed the whirlwind. I don't know what kind of threat that was. That sounds like some schoolboy wanted to be a superhero threat, but still, those words insought violence. And they try to come down on Trump when he said, be peaceful. He literally said, be peaceful, but he was inciting violence. But either way, now we've got Rep. Biggs who made that comment. Authoritarian. Again, I can't say that right. Authoritarian government starts with censorship. I read that headline again. It is real important that we do not go that route. Venezuela right now, isn't that mindset? We see how good they're going. Cuba, if you say something bad about the government, you go night-night permanently. Same thing with Russia. You disappear. Even Ukraine, I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure that something like that will happen in Ukraine because that's not really a 100% free country like we are. And we're heading that way if we don't watch our backs. You know, a lot of people will disagree with me just because I have the title of conservative. I claim conservatism because I say that I'm Republican. I claim Republican. Just because I say that, people will say that every political point I make is wrong. I've had people challenge me multiple times. Well, what about this? And have had them call me white supremacist because I claim to be Republican. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, Tea Party, Socialist, Liberal, Communist, Conservative, no matter what side of the aisle you are in this country here, America, you cannot disagree with me that we have the freedom of speech and should be able to speak our minds politically. Am I right? Am I right, TikTok? Am I right, Instagram? I don't have very many people on Instagram, but still, am I right? Nope. First, Roe v. Wade, you are for it. Assumptions. People make assumptions. Now, they're saying I am for Roe v. Wade. No. And I'm reading some comments here on TikTok, and before the end of the show, I'm going to scroll through some of these comments on TikTok, and hopefully I will get to address some of those before these people jump off. I've got a few people here on TikTok, but next topic online. And this is from Timcast IRL. If you haven't watched his show, in fact, he's on live right now. This is just the best time for me to come on live. But if you haven't watched the show, go check it out. White House press secretary addresses concerns about UFOs. Says there's no indication of aliens. There's a Miss Awesome Kareem Jean-Pierre. Oh. But since they said that, this is something that comes to my mind. Since they said that, we can almost guarantee that there's aliens. We know how much they like to redefine stuff. And let me read a quote from her. I know there have been questions and concerns about this, but there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Redefining. We know the Democratic Party loves to redefine. They redefined what a woman is. They redefined what a man is. They redefined what a recession is. For as long as I was growing up, a recession was 2 consecutive quarters that were negative. For as long as I was growing up, a male or a boy was a person that had an extra appendage. A female didn't have that. The female had the innie, the boy had the outie. Basically, that's what it is. XYXX. For as long as I've grown up, that was the definition. But the lefties like to change that. They like to change definitions. Now, we've got a Supreme Court justice that cannot define what a woman is because she's not a biologist. I didn't know we had to go to biology class to be able to define what a woman is. We've got a press secretary that doesn't know what a recession is, even though, 2 quarters that were negative. It's always been that way. It's in books. The paper that you can't change paper. Once it's printed, it's printed. You can change it digitally by all means. People do that all the time. But if it's printed on paper, once it's printed, it's printed. That's it, right? Books and books and books and books of recession being 2 quarters negative. So, what's the definition of an alien now? I know it used to be aliens were people that came over illegally, right? Or actually, take that back. The term was illegal alien. Let's do a quick Google search. Now, this is straight off the cuff. I haven't looked at this yet. Let's see. Define alien. A foreigner, especially one who is not a naturalized citizen of the country where they are living. An illegal alien. Google still has it. Google still has it as being a person who's not supposed to be here. But we can't use that word anymore because it's racist. So would calling little men from Mars aliens be racist too? Would they be illegal aliens because they came to our country without permission? So that's what I want to know. What are they really hiding from us? Dan Crenshaw, who was on the Intelligence Committee, basically said that there's some information out there that we can't have. Dan Crenshaw is a representative from Texas. He's the guy that wears the patch, which I might start wearing a patch too because this eye I still can't see out of, and I don't know if it's ever going to get fixed. But what is it? Okay, I get it. The balloon was Chinese. It had Chinese all over it. The Chinese claimed it. But what about those UFOs or whatever they call them? UFPs or whatever. UAPs. Unidentified air phenomenons, whatever. Redefining, But I've been doing that a lot today. But what is the definition now of aliens? I mean, are they going to redefine it to be somebody that specifically comes from the sun? And these people didn't come from the sun. They came from Mars. So they're not aliens. Or they came from the moon. And since the moon is part of Earth's orbit, it's not really foreign. So those aren't really aliens either. Or maybe these beings coming over claim to be our DNA donors. They left DNA on some rocks at the beginning of time, and lightning hit it just right and created this primordial ooze where bacteria grew legs and walked out of the water and turned into monkeys and turned into us. Maybe they claim to be that. So I'm over here looking at my TikTok comments, and I love all the insults I'm getting. These sound so MAGA. Let me ask this on TikTok. I'll ask this on YouTube as well. I ask this on Instagram. What's wrong with making America great again? What is wrong with that? Tell me. If you can tell me something that is wrong with making America great again, I will respect your answer. And I will actually look forward to more answers. So tell me, what's wrong with making America great again? What's wrong with it? Nothing. Who doesn't want to have a great country? If you don't want to have a great country, you got these Kentucky horse blinders on, and you don't see what's going on around you. You just see what's right here in front of you, what's being fed. That's the thing. Think about the horses. The horses in the Kentucky Derby. When they've got their bag of feed in front of them, they've got those blinders on. They don't see anything but the food. And then they got the blinders on. They see the food in front of them. Next thing you know, some guy is on them, whipping them until they run faster and faster and faster. All because they can't see what's around them, and they know that person whipping them is going to eventually feed them again. Feed them the same thing day in and day out. I'm going to hunt my own food. I cook my own food. I make my own food. Sometimes I grow my own food. Go figure. So if you think that making America great again is a bad thing, I really challenge you to take those blinders off. Next on topic that we have. This is a local story. For those of y'all in the Houston area or anywhere in Texas, you have undoubtedly heard of a gentleman named Mattress Mac. Mattress Mac is Jim Machiavelli, who owns Gallery Furniture. He owns there's two huge furniture stores, multimillionaire. He's placed $1 million bets on the Astros, on the Cowboys. He's lost $2 million here recently. I mean, it's Cowboys. Come on, they don't ever pull through. But not only does he have a lot of money, but he gives away. He's a philanthropist as well. And he wasn't really involved in the politics until about 2022 when he endorsed a candidate. And Harris County has some major shenanigans. Huge shenanigans. So let me play this video.
There were problems with the November election in Harris County, and he just filed a lawsuit to try to get more answers.
And it may sound unusual, an unusual move for a furniture store owner and philanthropist, but remember, in 2022, Mattress Mac jumped into politics in a way we hadn't seen before. He appeared in ads, most notably for Republican Alex Mueller, but they lost the race for Harris County judge. So his new lawsuit claims that the Harris County election administrator, Clifford Tatum, is withholding documents that Mac says could shed additional light on problems that came up during the election. And we now know that there were some issues, things like shortages of paper ballots and some precincts, glitches with the machines, and even paper jams. Harris County admitted all of that in a report. Leaders even citing the Astros parade, which was the day before the election, as a reason why some voting centers opened late. Mattress Mac is working with Wayne Dolcefino, a private investigator and journalist, to obtain documents. The lawsuit states that Harris County won't give it up because of other pending lawsuits.
It's really not political when they say when the election administrator was asked what went wrong with the election, the comment was the Astros parade. I mean, really, the people, they have certain precincts had 1,600 voters many times before, and they sent them 500 or 600 ballots. So there's a problem with the process. The process needs to be fair for all Houstonians, all Texans.
It is important to note here that there is no evidence so far of a documented case of a Harris County voter who wanted to vote but was unable to cast a ballot because of any of those issues.
All right. So let me close that tab before it starts playing some other stuff here.
It can be dangerous.
Okay, so there was some shenanigans in Harris County. Talking about running out of paper. We've had 2 years to prepare for this federal election. 2 years. We know that turnout was going to be as big as it's ever been, if not bigger. Just because of the political divisiveness as there is and as there has been, how are you going to run out of paper? Simple solution to that. You know how many voters register. You know how many people requested an early ballot. But regardless, look at the registered voters in your precinct, in your county. Get that much paper, and then 25% more, just in case. Rocket science. You know, the common sense isn't so common anymore. I have no idea why that was even an issue, but that was an issue, not having paper. Then there was something wrong with the size of the paper. Again, 2 years to prep for that since the last federal election. The doors weren't open. People lost the keys. Come on, really? No wonder why people like Al Green got 75,000 votes as opposed to his opponent, Mr. Leon, who got maybe 12, 13,000. Yeah. I have almost zero faith in the elections. Even though I have almost zero faith in the elections right now, I am still running for Congress. Texas District 9, which is where Al Green is. I've already made my announcement. If you want more on that, I'm not going to get too far in details. Go visit my website, aaforcongress.com. On my YouTube, I put the link in the description here. If you go to my profile here, you'll see those links there if you want to go to. But regardless, we had 2 years to prep for that. I had a boss that told me one time, because I came in late, I had Sunday off and I had Monday off. Tuesday was my day I was supposed to come in. I got out of work Saturday. It was about midnight. It was a long day Saturday from 9 a.m. to midnight, selling cars like candy bars, you know. I got there Tuesday. We were supposed to be there at 8:30. I got there at 8:45. Got locked out of the conference room because I was late. Boss talked to me afterwards. He said, "You had 2 days to be on time. There's no reason why you couldn't be on time." So we had 2 years to prepare for the elections. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to prepare for the elections. So I'm going to look over here real quick. Lose the MAGA talking points. Yeah, I'm not going to lose the MAGA talking points. I won't. I'm sorry. Other topics here. Actually, I believe that is the last topic I have here. I'm going to go over here to my TikTok now, and I'm going to look at some of the comments that I have here. Blame GOP. They did this. I'm going to redefine GOP. Okay? I want you all to listen to me. YouTube, watch this. Instagram and TikTok, watch this. GOP, to me now, means good old politicians. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. This is live. But traditionally, it meant good old politics. Normally identified with the Republican Party. I'm going to say good old politicians have done this. Because there's some Republicans out there, too, that have screwed us over. We know who they are. So the GOP, to me, can be on both sides. Good old politicians are Democrats and Republican that have screwed us over as a people. So next question here. Am I on a podcast? Yes, I am on a podcast called The Latino Conservative. I'm over here. This is my main camera over here on my YouTube, youtube.com/The Latino Conservative. I'll be there. Let's see. Get educated, kid. Yeah. Not even my mom called me kid. As many as it takes. Latino conservative. They treating you like trash. And I already talked about that one. Let's go. What else? I'm conservative, but I'm losing hope in politicians. Nothing in my lifetime has been, can't see that word, solved by them. Great point. Great point. Hey, Thick Colossus, great point. Thank you for that. Nothing in my life has been solved by a politician. Nothing. In fact, I believe it was Reagan that said, the scariest words you could hear are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. You could tweak that a little bit. I'm a politician and I'm here to help. I know that sounds weird. From a congressional candidate, that's hard for me to say. I'm a politician and I'm here to help. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, there are two people that are responsible for solving our problems. Two people, not me, not Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, not Mayorkas, not my mom, my dad, whoever. Two people. Me, my star player. I've got to make sure I'm in tune with my star player to solve my own problems. Two is God. So it's the only two people that can solve our problems. Myself and my God. Thank you for that point. That does make a lot of sense. Let's see, something else. It stands for Grand Old Party. I'm ready for a grand old party. Why do libs try to use age to make a point? That's a good point. People call me kid. They don't know how old I am. I'm actually a little older than I look, so I age like wine, fine wine. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been here just over 30 minutes. I like to keep these at 30 minutes. Give you all back your time. Let you go back your day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Don't forget, go to thelatinoconservative.com. Click that green banner. Go to Cash App, $ Latino Conservative. Like, share, subscribe to this. I really appreciate every one of y'all taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch this. And even if you watch this later on, the recorded version of it, I appreciate that. TikTok, Instagram, same thing. I'm going to stop on my YouTube right now. So thank everybody for joining.